Hello everyone, so in this video I just wanted to talk about 5 hardest parts of sales that no one talks about. This is going to be continuing on my 7 steps to becoming a health insurance agent video. Basically I just wanted to talk about the hardest parts about the health insurance, financial products business, and that's sales. It's pretty much what we need to do to deliver our product to people, our product being insurance, investments, consultations, why we are valuable and why people should come to us to, get these products from, get these services from, get a consultation from. So the 5 parts about sales that no one talks about. And the first one is keeping up momentum. So a lot of times when you're doing something, it's just that it takes that 5 minutes or so to get going. It takes that 5 minutes, 10 minutes to really shift from whatever you're doing prior to what we are doing right now and to build upon it. You know how when you have like a player's hot, it's got a hot hand in basketball, or in tennis, a player is just on fire, he's making all the shots, he's not in a slump. Or we have just when you're doing sales, when you're doing anything, you're on a roll, so to speak. So that's kind of what one of the hardest things is, and I admit that's one of my hardest things because I have so many different things that I have to do every day. Taking care of the family, cooking. In addition to all those things for the household, I also manage an agency. I have my own clients, and I also do these videos. I also have about 5 different side projects that I do in addition to my actual, job. I love researching, so I tend to get on these huge tangents. One of which I hope isn't gonna be the pitfall of this video. But that's one of the hardest things, is to keep up the momentum. When we're so fractured all the time, we get these things in our hand, right, that distract us, and then it takes us another 5 minutes just to get back into the mindset. So keeping up that momentum is going to be very, very important when you're making sales or doing sales, because you got to keep it going. Number 2 is replacing our own needs with the prospect. So I know it's very, I guess you could say, obvious that when we are talking to our prospects, we need to be looking out for their best interests, right? That is why they are coming to us. That's why we are on the case, so to speak. We are to help our clients, but we are helping them from our point of view. What I mean by that is we know why this client should be doing XYZ, but that's not, and that could be not, what the client thinks they need to buy or do XYZ for. And we need to figure out and worry about what they require versus what we require. And when you can shift your mind in this way, it becomes relatively easy to empathize more and to be able to really break down and see if you can help this person, or if you're just forcing your own biases towards why we need this onto them. Not everyone's the same, and not everyone has the same values, and that's kind of one of the things why, or that sales is difficult, right? Because you are there to help them, and if they don't believe this product will help, they won't believe this product will help. The next one is consistent follow-up. So I myself struggle, unfortunately, with this by means of just yesterday, I had a client who called me and said, "Hey Matt, when are we gonna get this done?" And I thought, you know what? I was gonna get back to you, but things happened. You missed, or it was on my schedule to follow up with you in the middle of the month, not at the beginning of the month. But clients like that. And it's always important to consistently follow up, especially if you don't think you're gonna get the sale on that next call. But actually, that's the only time you can get a sale, is usually on a call, right? If you're not going to call them, very rarely. And my practice is set up in a way that I get only referrals, and people who are referred to me are looking to do business. So it's a little bit different setup than most people who are just starting out. But for the most part, if you don't call, they're not going to buy. And if you do call, and they don't buy, at least you tried, right? You're either going to go from 0 to 1 or from 0 to 0. But if you just stay 0, meaning don't do anything, nothing will happen. So we have to consistently follow up. Another thing that's very important that people don't talk about is mental health. And our job is very difficult because people will tend to attack us personally, right? I've gotten people telling me that my job, what I do for people, how I help people is a scam, or is, they can't see how someone could do what I do as a living, right? There's people out there who just for whatever reason, they attack your values and your personality and your persona, yourself, because of what you do. So you have to be mentally tough, right? In addition to that, we get told no, we don't want this. And then we tend in our own minds to think of reasons why we went wrong, where we went wrong, if I did this, if I said this, if maybe I had led with this, or maybe if I wore another shirt, or maybe if I didn't have my glasses on, right? And that can really eat away at your persona, at your mental health. And that's why it's very difficult. And I recommend everyone who is in sales to also take part in a lot of different kinds of readings and YouTube videos, motivational stuff, to really build themselves and to know who they are, so that no matter what someone else tells you, it doesn't affect you. Well, it affects you, of course it affects me as well, but you don't take it and you don't dwell on it. You have to be able to release it and just say, you know what, whatever, that's just the way it is. Maybe they were having a bad day. Heck, maybe I was having a bad day. But we can just cross it out. We got tomorrow. And, we just have to realize that it's not the end of the world. And if it was the end of the world, like my father-in-law always says, who is allergic to shrimp, but loves shrimp. In the world, he just eats shrimp, So, the world's ending, whatever, right? So there's always that kind of, I don't mean to downplay that if you were to die it'd be bad, but I'm just saying that it could be worse. Your mental health is really important. Read up on how to make yourself feel better, how to build and find your personality, who you are, and also to seek help if you need it, right? There's lots of people who ask for help, especially in the capacity that we are very on YouTube sales. Our income relies heavily on what we do as entrepreneurs, as CEOs, right? We are the business. So if you need to get help, please do. There's tons of places that you can get help now that's not even included or not even has anything to do with your health insurance. So you can go ahead and take a look online. You can research it. BetterHelp. I'm not sponsored by them, but I hear about them in a lot of YouTubers' videos, so they might be some place to go. But just you can try that. I suggest you try that if all the other opportunities or methods aren't kind of good for you. And the last one, and it's kind of similar to what we just spoke about with the mental health, and even in the beginning where we talk about the perspective, right? Seeing things from the client's point of view versus your point of view, and that's self-belief. And the reason why I look at self-belief as a very important place, it's kind of like the foundation of number 4, the mental health impact, right? Like I said, work on yourself, keep getting better. If you didn't do well, right, in the first one, recognize that, work on that. If you didn't do well because of something personally, maybe you don't have conviction in what you're doing. Maybe this is not the job for you if you're not convicted in what you're doing. Maybe, or just maybe, you don't understand the product as well as you should, right? Research some more, learn some more. There's also going to be stuff to learn, but you do have to take action in order for the actions or the knowledge to stick. I really, really hate that, but it's just the way we are, just the way humans are. Like, I'm going to relate this to day trading. So I day trade a lot, make a lot of money, lose a lot of money, right? So you just have to figure out where and what you know, and also know that anything can happen, and the only way to be 100% sure of making money is when you make a little bit of money and you just close the position. That's the only way to be sure. Every moment you wait is risk that you are taking on as far as time on the money you get. Anytime you have a gain in your account, that gain is not anything until you sell it. And you don't really realize that. You don't feel it till you've made the sale. And that is how it should be done. For even when you're doing anything, right? When you are working with a client and you are helping them through and going through that thing, that sales process, that analysis process, the consultation process, if you don't go through that, you're not going to learn anything. And you won't be able to build your self-belief in what you do until you have all that. Because I could read all the books I want online, right? All the Google searching I need for years, I could do it. But I talk to somebody who has this weird question. Doesn't come up on Google. What do I do? What do you do, right? So at that point, you would then, go ahead and figure out in your years of experience how to maybe ask the question differently if the question doesn't make sense to you. Or try and find the root of the question, right? The root of what they're really asking. Are they really asking about price, or are they asking about value? Are they really asking about price because they cannot simply afford it and they just need something simple, something that's very plain, no frills? Or maybe they need to move and to do something that's more restrictive, right? Maybe they can't afford or they can't qualify for a regular life insurance policy because of health problems. But you say, hey, what about an accidental death policy? Accidents, they can happen, and at least it gets you prepared for if an accident were to happen. You have something at least, because your health won't allow you to qualify for life insurance. For health insurance, maybe they can't afford a Medicare supplement plan because it's too expensive. But there's a zero premium PPO plan that they can afford, that has their doctors, that they can do, understanding fully that it's not the best circumstances as far as health insurance utilization and freedom and flexibility, but it's really the only thing they can afford, because if they chose the Medicare supplement route, they cannot afford to even get groceries, or they cannot afford to pay rent, right? Some people, the question is not about it's too expensive or is there a cheaper one. It's I really can't afford it, show me what I can afford. But they don't articulate it that way. So lots of things to think about. Again, this video, just the hardest things about selling. 5 top things that I think everyone should be mentally aware of. And we'll see you in the next video, where I go and tell you that you actually don't suck at sales. You are great at it, and anybody can be great at it. You just have to work on these few things. We will see you there.